I was feeling a little down kind of this morning, like when I was going on the third day and they had, been restricting my account. And it was just like, oh my gosh, it's so slow, growing anyways, because the whole point is you're trying to, get information out to people and give people hope and give people the idea of what all of this is about, because people are so caught up in the three-dimensional, they can't break free and see those layers beyond, and it feels like the world's crashing. And so a lot of stuff is important. It does start to feel like, oh my gosh, it's so slow to begin with growing. It makes you be like, oh, I wish I would have started this earlier, but it takes a lot. It takes a lot in, for me, a lot of personal growth, so much to be able to get to this point. Oh my gosh, to be able to speak and, not feel like, now I'm to the point, like, I feel like if somebody comes at me, I'm not going to be as affected. But before 2020, oh my gosh, yeah, it took people that I loved and people that I feel now when I look at it that I was trying too hard to please. I was giving up a little bit of myself to try and not be judged by them and to please them, to have a relationship with them. And in 2020, when I started having people who were just turning against me, that I had been doing that all along, it really gave me so much more insight. It was like this thing I was so scared of happening was happening, but it also got me to the point of like, what is there to lose? You try and build yourself as this, acceptable person for people, you're always hiding a little bit of yourself. And then the rejection is like, well, why am I just not being my own true self all the time? And that's why I talk about it so much. But yeah, it took a lot to get to this point of being able to speak out about it, to, speak my own truth. And, there was a lot of times I'd be listening to people, especially like I go on and on about the vegan thing or reincarnation stuff. I'd hear people talk about, there would just be things I would hear people say, and I would think that's their interpretation. There's more information, because I don't get that. People who are looking, searching, they need to have more information. We got to get away from this world that they're trying to close in, Theirs is the only information we're allowed. When there's, my hair's bugging me, sorry, I just got to take it down. When there's so much information out there, but we're being restricted all the time. They're not letting us have access. We can't, they want to control the information that we're allowed to have. And, that's the opposite of what we need. And so, when I was going on and they were holding my account back for days, and I've had a strong belief since the very beginning. Even I thought, okay, because I, like I've said a zillion times, I'm shocked that this is still going on. I seriously thought, I thought we'd be in a way different place at this point. So yeah, it's trippy how this is going. But, I just thought this was gonna be a way different place. I didn't think that it would be going as long, but it felt super important to get this stuff out over the airwaves, because on Twitter, I started noticing how much that you can really see that 100th monkey when you're on something like that. And you could be thinking about something, you could be talking about something, and you'll see a complete stranger, could be completely across the globe, talking about the same thing that you started thinking about. And this is all coming from outside of us, That's another thing I say all the time. All our information is coming from outside of us. You have to use discernment, what you're going to tap into. And if you're just all free range, you don't even know who or what you are, you have no idea, then you've got them coming at you. If you don't have discernment, you don't have any abilities to understand that you are a receptacle, an antenna, that you are being given information. If you don't have any understanding of that, you start to believe that's who and what you are. So you can be defined by something outside of you. That's important to know. And there's a lot of people who are in that position. And so I really started noticing about how how the connection, how we really are so energetically connected when people will be talking about things that don't know one another. Like, it's coming from somewhere else. And, it just reminds me all the time of that 6th grade teacher I had. And she was talking about, if you ever come up with an idea, an invention or a book or something like that, she said, you've got to follow through with those, follow that as far as you can or where you want to go. Because she said, you will be guaranteed that if you don't, you're going to see somebody with that same idea somebody will be writing that book that you thought of because of this connection outside of us. So I took it serious from the beginning, how important it was to speak out, especially, like I said, they would relentlessly tell me, go say this, go say that, and turn my lights on and stuff. Like, when they want you to speak out, and that they're there. Like, I've had an awareness since I was a little kid. When you know that they're there and they're talking to you and stuff, and they start saying, you got to talk about this, then you take it serious. And so, and then you have to get over your fear. Like, they had been telling me for a while that I held myself back. And I was writing in my journals and had my typewriter. I'll just go with this. That's safe bet as a book. But there kept being like a time thing to me. And when I started writing, it's way too fast. I can't keep up. So that's why I started just talking. I talked about this in the very beginning. But, once I started doing it and I started seeing that there was a value to it, and I started thinking, I want to really pursue this more. Like, this is really cool way to interact with people and build community and help people find one another and stuff like that. And so I started thinking it was really cool. So I started, taking it more serious, trying to figure out my titles, trying to figure out how to approach it in a more professional manner. And so when they started doing the restrictions and stuff, it started being like, it just feels kind of defeating, like, so frustrating. And, but I already knew, I know I'm on a list. I've known that for a while. But then, I was trying to think of a title, because it's really hard to figure out the title stuff, especially like me. I'll just ramble through a bunch of different things, but it's, it's all about just, healing and growing and awareness and conscious, your real connection to the universe. And so I was trying to figure out a title. And I was going down the thing. I thought, I'll just go look at some other spiritual ones, because we all are kind of like connected. I've even said, like, it's kind of weird. Sometimes I'll see them going across, you get a second, like when you're looking at things that will show somebody. And some of them I've even gone in to watch for a minute, and I'll be like, this is trippy, because I feel like there's some kind of similarity between a lot of us. I don't know. It's weird. So, when I was going across looking for the titles, and I was going down the thing, and it came to people who watch these. So I thought, well, I'm going to go in and look. And it was all stuff that I said this before, the other time when this popped up and I saw that, that gave me a whole new excitement again, because it was like, okay, so these people are watching about how spiritual, about growth, and about, growing from your soul, like you really growing as a person, and about, taking responsibility for your life. One of the titles was, you made your choice to come here, something like that, about soul contracts, and it's like, that's the stuff like I talk about. So it's really exciting that people are, so there is like a lot of people who do get it, I think, because it just really gave me so much more excitement to see like, oh, so yeah, they're all looking at all these different things that are all what I'm talking about, because it is all about this awareness. The awareness is the breaking free from this three-dimensional controlled experiment that we've been going through. Breaking free from that as a consciousness. And that's about awareness. It's about looking at things and seeing through the illusion. And a lot of people just aren't there yet. And, we're to the point now of questioning, like, we know not all souls are here for the same purpose. Not all of them are here for this awakening. Not all of them are here to ascend. Some are here to help others shift. Everybody has a different purpose. So we can't really just generalize and say, oh, all brainwashed people are zombies. All brainwashed people are this. All brainwashed people are that. Because as a soul, they all have a different contract, a different purpose that they're doing. We've got to get out of this generalizing things, We've got to get into this more of learning how to just accept everyone else for their own beliefs. But there's not, what I have seen and from what I understand in my own life experience is that it's very difficult to love and accept somebody else if you can't love and accept yourself. So all your healing has to start with yourself. You can't fix those relationships without fixing yourself. And it is, it's kind of so, minimized or something in our society of the importance of it. But it affects everything. You wouldn't have people who had this desperation to, it just gets me, is this desperation to be famous on TikTok for these like super, super obnoxious things. It's like, why would you lower yourself to be a laughing stock, to be famous? Like, what has happened to people? Like, we used to have like, when I was a kid, it wasn't, I grew up with a different kind of thing. I'm talking about the ones that my mom was a teenager when she had me. So she was still, kind of that, but they grew up, like moms cooked dinner in dresses and heels, their moms, my mom didn't. That was getting more into the slacks, but her mom definitely would have been in there cooking in heels and stuff. Like, women would walk around so much more, like they took pride when they went out. They got their hair done. They, they didn't wear makeup like they do now. Oh my gosh. They put on some lipstick and do their eyebrows a little bit. And, but there was just, they took pride in how they looked when they went out. And men used to dress up. Men would wear suits and ties and stuff. And they didn't do it because it was expected. They did it because they just felt good about themselves. Like, when you think back about like Dean Martin and, the Rat Pack, Fred Astaire, no, was it Fred Astaire? He was the dancing one. Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack and all of those kind of that kind of era. Sammy Davis Jr. and stuff, that Las Vegas kind of, those people, they took pride in how they dressed and stuff. And we've just slowly kept creeping away from there to the point now where people just don't give a I've got so many images coming into my head of things I've seen of people out in public where it's just, it's quite clear that as a group that if there's a huge amount of people that are in that position, as it reflects us all. We have a huge amount of people who don't give a crap. They don't They don't know how to love themselves. That is such a foreign idea that it's almost as if they repel it. Like they want to be a laughingstock. That will make them feel better. You know what I mean? To accept themselves for their worst. I think, you know, it makes sense if you get what I'm saying. It all just comes down to, no matter what has gotten anyone into that position of this just not even being able to even recognize themselves. Like there's so many people who you could go up and ask them, like, tell me 5 things about you that are good about you. And they can't do it. Tell me, like people have a real lack of self-defining and love to recognize these things. But also we have a society that is not build that up in people. Like they've even taken like arts and sports and all this stuff. Well, not sports so much, but certain things out of schools. Definitely music and art and stuff like that. These different outlets where people find different parts of themselves. All of that has been on purpose. And we have a group of huge group of people who don't know where to begin to learn to love themselves, to take pride in themselves. So how can we think that they can, you know, that anybody can love anybody else? It's all just this, we've just got ourselves in this, kind of give and take, dysfunctional, toxic way of interaction, you know, but it all comes from starting within. And I'm making my kombucha and I'm doing this different thing. I have a whole bunch of fresh blueberries. So I was cooking them. I had seen when I very first started with the kombucha about people making all this stuff to put in it as the flavoring, and I didn't really do that. And so I have all these blueberries, but I can hear it boiling. It sounds like it's, because you have to reduce it, and so it sounds like it's ready. So I better go do that. And kombucha is really good for you. You're having any problems with your digestion and stuff, you got to get, you know, try some fermented foods and stuff like that. But kombucha is really good, but it's getting that balance in the good bacteria and in your stomach, in your guts, to especially all these toxins and stuff. You know, it's killing our GI system. So most people have a lot of problems with their stomachs. Anyways, kombucha is a great way to go. And the ones at the store, they help. But I was drinking like 3 of those a day. Making my own, I can drink 1 of them because it's so much more powerful. But it is, you can look up different ways. But Stephen Gundry talks a lot about this kind of stuff with your gut and how to care for it and what's really happening. So anyways, I better go tend to that. And, you know, but just every single thing, just stop looking outside of you for anybody else to fix them, to make you feel better. Start recognizing anything that triggers you is your opportunity to fix something in you. But you gotta sometimes look deeper than you want to. But there's a gift. There's a gift to healing. And so, you know, I'll keep talking about it. I'll talk about it more because I do see this is what people do want, and it's exciting. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.